Welcome back to the Valley of the Suns podcast. I'm Kory Miller, and this is your Rookie Watch podcast for the week of January 15th through the 21st. The Suns again played 3 games this week, opening at home against the Utah Jazz on Monday night, before playing 2 games on the road, against the Cleveland Cavaliers on Thursday night, and in New York against the Knicks on Saturday. The Suns lost a close one with the Jazz on Monday, lost again to the Cavaliers on Thursday, before ending the week on a high note, winning in New York behind a Devin Booker go-ahead 3 with about 30 seconds to go. Overall, the Suns maintained their increased level of play as of late, losing a close game to the Jazz on Monday and playing a good game to beat the Knicks in New York on Saturday night. The game against Cleveland wasn't as close, but the Suns fought into the end, and there are definitely signs of progress on the court. Let's take a look at how the rookies did this week. Marquese Chriss had a bit of a rough stretch this week for the Suns. He played in all 3 games. Against the Jazz, he played 22 minutes, shooting 2 for 9 from the field, 0 of 3 from three-point range. He had 5 points, 3 rebounds, no turnovers, but 5 personal fouls and a minus 12 for the game. 2 of those personal fouls came in the first 3 to 4 minutes in the first quarter and sent him to the bench very early. In the game against Cleveland, he also played 22 minutes, shooting 3 of 7. He did not attempt a 3-point field goal. He totaled 6 points, 4 boards, 3 personal fouls, again, no turnovers, and was an even plus-minus for that game. Saturday against the Knicks, he again played 22 minutes. He shot 6 of 10 from the field, 2 of 5 from behind the arc, totaling 15 points, 5 rebounds, 2 personal fouls, 1 turnover, and a minus 5 for the game. Total for the week, Chris averaged 22 minutes per game. He shot 42.3% from the field, only 25% from three-point. He averaged 8.7 points, 3.3 personal fouls per game, and 0.3 turnovers per game. Overall, I think it was a bit of a down week for Chris, although I do believe there are some positives in what we saw from him. His turnovers continue to look really good. He only had a single turnover all week. For a player his age, I think that's a huge accomplishment. Another thing I saw to be encouraging this week is that he got consistent minutes even on his bad nights. He played 22 minutes a game, every single game, and it'll be interesting to see as we move forward if that's going to be a consistent number for him. Personal fouls started off really rough Monday night against the Jazz. As I mentioned, he had 2 personal fouls in the first few minutes of the game, and he ended up with 5 overall. They got better as the week went on. He only had 3 against the Cavs, 2 against the Knicks, but he continues to have an issue with fouling, and he has to be able to shake off bad plays and bad calls. He can't get into foul trouble in the first quarter games anymore. He really needs to work on that. Against the Jazz, the Suns actually played Utah pretty well, and it was a close game till the end, but Chris had the worst plus-minus of anyone on Phoenix that game, totaling a minus 12, and just really didn't have a good game. Also, just didn't have a good shooting week, period. He picked it up against the Knicks, going 6 of 10 and 2 of 5, but the Jazz and Cavs games were pretty rough for him, and they kind of brought his numbers down for the entire week. He remains inconsistent, as we've discussed all season, and as for a player of his age, that's going to happen. You're going to see a lot of 2 steps forward, 1 step back with Chris for the rest of the season, I think. But it's very encouraging to me that he got consistent minutes even when he wasn't playing well this week. And although that's not a big thing to get excited about, it is encouraging to me, and I'd like to see it moving forward. And if he can just continue to work on keeping his emotions in check after a bad call or a bad play, to not let bad calls get him down and get him into a bad spot mentally, help him stay in rhythm when he's on the floor a little bit more, it'll aid some of his development, and I'd really like to see him do that this next week. Dragan had another up-and-down week for the Suns. Against the Jazz, he played 25 minutes, shooting 2 for 4 from the field, including 1 for 3 from three-point range. He totaled 5 points, 4 rebounds, 2 blocks, a single turnover, and a +4 for the game. Against the Cavs, he played 18 minutes, shooting only 1 for 5 from the field. All of those were 3-point attempts. He totaled 3 points, 1 rebound, 1 block, again a single turnover, and a -9 for the game. Against the Knicks on Saturday, he played only 10 minutes, going 0 for 2 from the field. Again, both were 3-point attempts. He had no points, a single rebound, a single turnover, and -1 for the game. Total, Bender averaged 17.7 minutes. He shot 27.2% from the field, only 20% behind the arc, averaged 2.7 points per game, 1 turnover per game, and was -6 for the week. I thought Bender played well against the Jazz on Monday. He played 25 minutes. He shot well. He had a good plus-minus. He was active defensively. And you can tell that his length helps the Suns' perimeter defense. Unfortunately, Bender has been the epitome of 2 steps forward, 1 step back this season. Because against Cleveland and the Knicks, he only attempted 3-point field goals and went 1 for 7 in those 2 games combined. And that's basically unplayable at the NBA level. He normally has a pretty good plus-minus, even when he's not shooting well. Against the Cavs, he was -9. The Suns ended up losing that game by 15, so that's not horrendous. But Dragan has normally been closer to a even plus-minus. And he really struggled against Cleveland and the Knicks, and his minutes went down again, and that's another concern, I think. As I mentioned for Chris, it was encouraging to see that his minutes stayed current even when Chris wasn't playing well. Unfortunately for Bender, that wasn't the case, as his minutes went down in all 3 games. He had played well at the end of last week and had earned a few more minutes, it seems, and by the end of this week, he had lost those minutes again, and he only played 10 minutes against the Knicks. His shooting, which had improved, really fell off a cliff at the end of this week. And I think some consideration needs to be given to having Dragan play a few games down in the D-League where he can go and start and not have to worry about his performance affecting his minutes. And he can go and log 30 to 35 minutes a game and just kind of get into a little bit of a rhythm and then bring him back up to the Suns and see how he performs for a few games. Tyler Ulis played in all 3 games this week. He played 11 minutes against the Jazz. He shot 0 for 4, including 0 for 2 from 3-point range. He ended up with no points, but no turnovers, and a -2. Against the Cavs, he again played double digits. He played 10 minutes. He shot 1 for 4 from the field, including 0 for 1 from behind the arc. He ended up with 2 points and 2 turnovers, and a -6 for the game. To finish the week Saturday against the Knicks, Tyler played 5 minutes. He shot 0 of 2 from the field. He had no points, a single turnover, and was +6 for the game. Total for the week, he averaged 8.7 minutes per game. He shot 10% from the field, averaged 1 turnover a game, and was a -2 for the week. I'll be honest, there's not a lot of positives to say about Tyler for this week. He's shown at points that he can come in and I think be an okay bench player, and I think he definitely has the potential to be a good bench player and a good guard in this league in the future. But his shooting was awful this week, and at this point, I really don't know if you can justify him getting minutes in an NBA game. I really think he needs to be playing in the D-League every night right now. Allow him to start in the D-League, get 30 minutes a game, and I think the best thing for him would be able to do that for the rest of the season. Play him in Vegas in the summer, and then bring him back up to the Suns for next season and see where he is then. He's got a lot of development to go, and unfortunately, I don't know if playing 5 to 10 minutes and shooting poorly against NBA teams is really going to help him much. Well, that's a wrap for this week at the Valley of the Suns Rookie Watch. We'll be back next week with another look at how the Suns rookies are progressing. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to email us at votsuns@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. We'll see you again next time.